Hello, everybody. This is Chuck Cook. I have Lily Axelrod with me today. If you watched my earlier Facebook Live, YouTube Live, which you probably shouldn't have because it wasn't for you, I was doing myself. I'm actually in Minneapolis today on a business trip. Lily is holding the fort down because Greg is out of the office. Jeff and Aaron are also out of the office today. So we're going to handle these questions. We're going to give you comments. We're kind of going to go over the case, and we have got, well, I want to congratulate everybody, okay, because we won. Now, it doesn't feel like a win if you don't get your DV 2021. I know that. And we are extraordinarily disappointed in the math that Judge Maida used to make his determination. I believe his math is actually wrong. We actually given him the correct math, and I still believe it's the correct math. But at the end of the day, this is the order that he issued. Now, Lily, he issued an order, didn't he, for Goh Plaintiffs?
He did, and he specifically reserved a number of visas into this coming fiscal year, or I would say this current fiscal year. Happy October 1st, happy new fiscal year, saying that the Department of State has to adjudicate a certain number of visas specifically for named plaintiffs in Goh by the end of this fiscal year, so by September 30th of next year.
Now, the thing about that, we are the only case that has that order. The good luck plaintiffs, the other plaintiffs, they are not getting visas until they have a final judgment. And I think they're many months away from a final judgment. So Goh Plaintiffs will be the first to get their visas. Now, we need to be clear here. There is a final judgment. I saw something in assignments that we haven't got a judgment. I don't think I'd sent him that. We do have a final judgment. Our case is over. We have a final appealable order. Now, the question becomes this. Government has 30 days to file an appeal. I do not anticipate that anybody will be set for an interview until the government decides whether they're going to appeal. Now, the government, in order to avoid enforcing the case, will need a stay. The government, generally speaking, gets those 30 days to do that. Now, obviously, since the Department of State controls the process, and they are the ones that lost, nobody's, in my opinion, going to get a visa in October. I just don't see that happening because they have until October 30th to file an appeal. Now, once they file the appeal, unless they get a stay of the court's decision, they will have to begin issuing visas in November. Now,
a stay, let me just stop you in case folks don't know what a stay is. A stay is a pause. So they say to the appeals court, wait, we're appealing this. Can you please put a pause on the judge's order until we've worked out the appeal? Do you think they're going to appeal?
I am absolutely convinced they're going to appeal. Because if they don't appeal, it costs them a good luck case. So they're going to have to appeal this. Now I believe we're going to win on appeal. We'll need to talk to our plaintiffs about how that's going to be done. But at the end of the day, do not expect that tomorrow a U.S. embassy is going to interview you. And don't expect that the KCC says we have no record of case because the lottery's over. All of that is true. So at this point, let's talk about what the order means. The judge reserved, is it 481 or 487? The number all of a sudden slipped my mind. I think it's 481.
Let me pull it up.
Pull up that number. Visas to be allocated among the Goh plaintiffs. And most of his decision is spent talking about why he cannot order specific relief to specific plaintiffs under the administration. Now, we think he's wrong about that. We think his math is wrong. But that's the order. All right. Now, he did not order the Department of State how to do this. Specifically not. So the Department of State, once they decide they're going to obey this order, either because an appeals court says so or because there's no pause on the case, my guess is they will begin issuing visas first to those people in administrative processing who have completed administrative processing. So they've had an interview. It's good to go, except for their medical or whatever. So I think they'll be first.
Easy folks to start with.
Easy. Second, I think people that had interviews that were set to be interviewed because everything was at the consulate, but the consulate couldn't get you in, I think you're second. Now, obviously, both of those groups are, quote, documentarily qualified. Now, Lily, I'm going to ask you, but did you find out the number, by the way, the judge ordered?
481.
See, my brain was working. All right. Now, Lily, I'm going to ask you to look up something else. Would you go to the joint status report that we submitted, and would you take a look and tell me if we said how many people we believed were documentarily qualified? You just look for that. It's in the chart that Aaron did in the filing. So I'm going to have
to give me a second to pull up the joint status report.
That's fine. Not fine. I'll give you a chance to do that. But here's why. It's 481 visas. And obviously, the way the Department of State works is not once all the numbers are current, that means everybody's ready to be interviewed. I mean, anybody can be interviewed. But the way the Department of State has been operating, they will only interview people that have been documentarily qualified. Now, we have seen exceptions. We have seen people that somehow convinced the consulate to interview them, and they submitted the documents directly to the consulate, and they got interviewed. That did happen. We have plaintiffs that did that. So what does that mean here for us? What does that mean? Well, it means that probably the people that are documentarily qualified will be those that first benefit from the reserve numbers, the 481 reserve number. We're going to find out in a minute how many we think are documentarily qualified. Now, a couple things about the numbers, because I've seen some questions already about this particular issue. The first question is that I kind of saw was, why did you say there was only 1,500 people? We didn't. We told the judge that we needed 2,250 visas for our plaintiffs. And that was based on the numbers that we actually had and our estimate of the individuals who did not respond to our emails that were still plaintiffs in the case and to whom we have a legal responsibility. Now, that legal responsibility means we're representing them too, and so we're going to ask for those visas as well. So we told the judge we needed 2,250 visas for our plaintiffs. Now,
I've got this pulled up if you want the.
All right. So how many people did we say that we believed were documentarily qualified?
So we said at least 591 plaintiffs previously provided all required documents to KCC, but have not been set for interview. Of those, 112 have been deemed documentarily qualified.
All right.
Since
So
last summer.
So that means as far as we know, we only had 112 plaintiffs that were documentarily qualified. There are 481 visas. So that means there will be people who were not documentarily qualified who will get one of these visas. People ask me, what if I'm not documentarily qualified? Most of our clients were not documentarily qualified, not because of what they did, but because of what the KCC
just didn't feel like doing their job.
Yeah. So, I can't go back in time, but that's obviously a problem. Now, a couple other things to remember. The judge said that his math was based on I don't know if math was based. It was a crazy math. But know this: the numbers of people that have been issued visas was as of Monday. There were a lot of people who got visas after Monday that were our clients. A goodly number.
Congratulations to all of you.
By the way,
good to see those coming in.
We had one client, Russian, who got somehow a DV appointment in Managua, Nicaragua, and had 48 hours notice to get to the consulate. And they got from Moscow to Managua in 31 hours, were interviewed, got their medical, and got the visa. That is, first of all, completely outrageous that they had to do that, one. But two,
that's a story for their grandkids.
Effort. Exactly, remarkable effort. But, that's what happened. There were people that did that all over the globe. There was a lot of South Africans who got visas, for example, in that last week. There were people that didn't get, there were other countries that did nothing. Morocco did nothing. They did nothing. They made no effort whatsoever. Now, keep in mind, the numbers are supposed to be allocated also by region. Now, will the Department of State regionally divide the 481 visas? We don't know. So we don't know how they're going to do it. So all of what I'm telling you is based upon our experience and the knowledge that we have. I mean, I will tell you that Britt Simon says we'll likely have a Facebook Live, a YouTube Live that you should look at, because he's got a good input on this as well as to what they would do. But my guess is the first issue is, what's your number? What's your case number? 2 is, when did you send documents to KCC and were documentarily qualified? Number 3, when did you send documents to KCC and were not documentarily qualified? And number 4 is the overall regional numbers. I think that will be how they do it. We will, of course, talk to the State Department about what they're going to do. They're not talking to us today. So, no, they have not talked to us today. It will be, and we will, of course, have our standard impact litigation YouTube Live on Monday night. I doubt we will know more on Monday night than we know now. But so, again, the priority that appears to me to be will be those that actually been in an interview but didn't get the visas because the first time ran out and they were still in processing. I think you're set. I can't guarantee that, but I think you're set. I think people that were documentarily qualified will be scheduled, but that's only 112 of our clients. I think next they will probably go by the order in which they received documents at the KCC. That's another 400 and change of our clients, which would cover that number. For those that never submitted documents, probably not a good thing right now to not have done that. And I know they told you not to send them.
Chuck, your audio went out. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yep.
All right. Hold on.
We've been telling folks for months, send your documents in. So if you haven't done that by now, probably they're not going to go out of their way to.
I don't know why my video just went off. So there it is. I'm on my phone. I never do this on my phone. And somebody called me and that triggered all this. So I do apologize. So going back to what I was saying, I know the KCC told you not to documents. I'm sorry they lied to you. They did. That's how people jumped ahead of you in line. People ahead of me got interviewed. I know. They probably sent their documents in without being asked. So if you're a DV2022 person and you have not both filled out the form online and sent your documents, you are a fool. You need to be doing that in advance. Do not trust the KCC at all. As far as you can spit them is an old Western New York saying. Do not trust them. So again, here we are. And then finally, we do not believe that anyone will be interviewed before November because the government has 30 days to appeal the decision. Now, they could ask, technically they should start doing it, but they're not. And we're going to ask the government if they're going to ask for a stay from Judge Mehta while they make a decision on the appeal. If they do, my guess is Judge Mehta will give them a stay. So many of you have emailed us. I don't know, Lily, how many emails did you get yesterday asking for a copy of the complaint?
Over 100.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cannot respond to all the individual ones, but we are working on redacting it right now, and I will send a link to it as soon as we have that ready. Please don't email any of us to request it.
Plaintiffs, what we are doing is we are redacting the addresses of everyone in the complaint, along with personal information in the body of the complaint. There's a lot of it, and we can't send that out. There's a complaint you get will be redacted. All of your names will be there. Your names. We have no other way to do this to give you evidence that you're a plaintiff other than to send you that. All right. So we're going to send you that information. We will email that out in a link to you, and you will be able to download that link. Hopefully that will be available by later today. You don't need it today. The KCC is not responding to you. The consulates will not respond to you. They will not. I'm sure they're under orders to do so. Remember the last time they lost in the other cases, or even in August, They basically took 3 days to tell the consulates in the world what they were going to do. So that's kind of where we are on this case. And keep in mind, Goh is the first of any case to go to final judgment on the DV. We are first before the Gomez case. Gomez got a final judgment. We have a final judgment.
That's kind of funny.
And I think that's a testament to us. So you will be the first people to benefit from the judge's final orders once it happens. Now, if the government appeals and they do get a pause, they do it in a stay, then there will be no interviews during that, and that can last a year. Yes, you don't want to hear that. Appeals can last a year. We will, of course, do everything possible if there's an appeal to do that much more quickly, but that's kind of where we are on that. So
if the appeal lasts a year and I'm guessing the next question is going to be, if the appeal lasts a year and the order says to adjudicate them, by the end of this fiscal year, can the government just run out the clock?
No,
again?
The government they'll have to do these. And the thing about this, remember, the government wanted, this actually bodes well for the Gomez case as well, but the Acker Gomez case, that he ordered them to do it this year because he's heard all their arguments. They want to go to 2023. Their arguments. Now, of course, doing an additional 481 visas, they could do that we all know they could do that in a week. They could be done in a week. They could do that and just be done with it and not worry about it. But they're not going to do that. The Biden administration has proven itself to be anti-immigrant, which is just tragic because now we have 2 anti-immigrant administrations in a row. But we will need to fight for each of you. Now, Lily, I want to go through some of these questions that we have here. The first one is from somebody named Murat Akan from the Joint Status Report. You said 1,550 Goh plaintiffs according to the survey respondents, but said in the footnote it's not 100%. Because we also explained in the Joint Status Report that some people did not respond, and that we estimated and that we needed and asked to be reserved 2,250 visas. All right, so we did ask for the number that we thought we would absolutely need as part of this. All right, so let's go to the next question here. Andre is a really good question. This is where the judge's math. The judge got to 97,000. That's wrong. We know that's wrong. Because we gave him in our status report the actual numbers from each of the last valid lotteries that every year they had a normal lottery. 41% of the people did not respond. They did not respond. 41%. And then another 14% were essentially denied. So 55% of lottery selectees do not have a chance for a visa. Statistically speaking, where he came out with 31%, I mean, I know he didn't go to mass school, but come on. Really, this is not hard. We literally gave him the facts on this. So yeah, Andre, I bet that the man is just wrong. Now, somebody will ask, well, aren't you going to appeal that? This is where we haven't talked. We haven't decided. And here's why. 2 things can happen on an appeal. You can win or you can lose. All right. But a third thing could also happen here. The court could say, we agree with the reservation, but we, the judge did it wrong. We think it's less. Are you willing to roll that dice? We don't know yet. We'll be talking and conferring with each of you as it goes forward.
But as either way, the government we anticipate is going to appeal the fact that he reserved any visas at all. So the sort of question is whether to file a cross appeal right on the other half of the decision. We'll see. Okay. Puts us in a strange position.
Luca thinks it's good to see you too. Thank you. Okay. Are you sure of the fifth? No, it's not the right number. Okay. Right. But here's the deal. We know it's not the right number today. We know there's probably at least 50, maybe 100 plaintiffs more that got their visas last week. So the number is actually lower. And so, and that could come into effect. Government's going to be able to come back in an appeal. If we appeal the number, they can say, oh, the number's lower. So the judge's number should be low. So that's the thing to remember, is that we don't have the final number. We will have the final number until each of you report that you got a visa And we'll be following up with you guys on that because we're going to need that information. Let's see. How to make an interview, Trey Yates. You don't make an interview. You don't. There's no way to make an interview. They're not going to issue any visas today or tomorrow or Monday, and likely not in October. Once we have a chance to confer with the government, keep in mind, we are the only case that won. The other case, they didn't finish the case yet. So they're not interviewing those people. So by interviewing us, they're effectively conceding the judge is right in the other case, and that hurts them in the other case. So that's why I think everybody rushing out to try to get interviews, that's not how this is going to work. Okay? The percentage of plaintiffs that already got their visa, we don't know the percentage that already got their visa. But we know that of the 2,284 or so original total plaintiffs, and I think that's the number, Lily, that several hundred, I think maybe 500 had already gotten their visas. A lot of people got their visas during August and September, and we just don't have the final numbers on the last week. We just don't have that yet. So that's a great question. We'll be able to answer maybe in a week or so. Let's see. Judge made his reservation, does not give me a chance of having an interview. Will it help if I take a personal lawyer? Well, people have been asking me about this, Lily. Can I sue now? Well, under the legal theory under which we won, which was numbers had to be reserved during the fiscal year, no. There's no, I personally won't file any lawsuit for fiscal year 2021 because I don't believe I can win. I don't think there's any law to help us. Does that mean you shouldn't hire a lawyer to do it? There may be a lawyer smarter than me about that, but there may be. And Lily shouldn't even smile about that.
I'm confused about this question. Is this from somebody who is not a plaintiff and is therefore?
I don't know.
Or someone who just assumes that they're not going to get a chance.
Whether they're a plaintiff or not, the question is, can you sue your own now? I do not believe so.
Yeah, if you weren't a plaintiff in our case, then I think it's too late to bring a new lawsuit. If you are a plaintiff in our case, then I don't.
Well, you can always file
a separate
again,
lawsuit
but
would benefit you.
There's no legal theory that lets you win because the numbers have now gone except for the ones that are reserved. How are visa issues been controlled? Any reports of how many were issued? Well, we will, again, this is only a day after hours after the order, really. So what we're going to do is we're going to get with the government this next week, see if they'll talk to us. I don't even know if they'll talk to us about this. And so far, they've limited all communications through their client, through their lawyer, and we're not getting a lot of feedback there. So we'll know how many were issued. By the end of next week, we'll know how many of our plaintiffs were issued, and we can give you stronger, more detailed numbers on endpoint numbers about what the numbers are. And Andre, I think I answered your question early on in my broadcast here. The judge will not oversee the execution of the order. Now, if the government refuses to act or refuses to make the order, we can bring an action in his courtroom for contempt of the order if it's on an appeal. Now, of course, it's an appeal and they get a pause or a stay, then there's a stay. It's just going to wait. So if they don't get a pause or stay, they'll have to adjudicate the cases. But he gave them till the end of the year. They could literally not be in contempt and issue all the visas the last week of September 2022 to do that. Yeah.
So the question of whether the judgment is going to be, like he has been while the case was pending, requesting status reports and having conferences, no, that the case is now over from his perspective. And like Chuck said, they have to do something violating the order before we can bring it back to him and say,
correct,
hey, you got to enforce this for us.
Mohammed, you're welcome. Thank you very much. It's a joy to work with all of you. I know it's not the result some of you wanted. It is the result for many of you got that you wanted. But this is litigation in America. We did the very best we could. I think our arguments were superb. I thought we had the best briefs. I thought we had the best arguments. And not just because I made them. I think they were good arguments. The law is solidly on our side. I just think the Judge Mehta decided to split the baby. And he went on and on about being fair and about not putting plaintiffs ahead of non-plaintiffs. You know, he's the judge. At the end of the day, he makes the decision. All right. My embassy's working fully and KCC's not operating. What are your suggestions? Well, KCC's not going to touch your case yet. So let's put KCC questions to the side for now, because they're not going to touch your case until basically their bosses tell them to do it. All right. I might have the opportunity to move to the U.S. on an L1 visa. Could the fact that I send a DS be a problem for getting that visa later on? No. L1s are dual intent visas, so you're golden. By the way, this is a reservation to the Department of State. Lily, I don't know. Somebody asked me this last night. What if I come to the U.S. and file an adjustment of status?
I don't think you get to do that.
I think you can. I think you have to consider process this case.
Because from USCIS perspective, they're not adjudicating DV 2021, and they don't. They're not under any order to do anything else.
And we didn't sue them. So okay. Bojemi Sadi. From now, there is no update until government appeal and not felt to be kept a few months. So what judge waiting for Gomez? Oh, it's the Gomez question. I don't know. I honestly, I don't live inside Judge Mehta's brain. Do you think there is a chance for non-DQ plaintiffs getting a chance to interview, especially those from Moscow? Well, it just depends. I mean, yes, there are 500 plaintiffs that submitted documents. 112 have been documentarily qualified. So if you send documents in, you've got a really good chance of getting the visa. If you didn't send documents in, I don't think you have a good chance of getting the visa. I mean, I think that's kind of the way it is. Why won't we appeal? Well, first of all, we have 30 days to appeal. Back off a little bit, big guy. Give us a little time here. We got the decision at 7:36 last night. All right. And an appeal takes a year. And if we appealed, I think that would be a stay. If we appealed, I think they would definitely get it. I think if we appealed, the government for a stay, they would definitely get it. If we don't appeal, we have a chance of them not getting the stay. All right. Could you share the data you got from claimant? Would you see how many plaintiffs are pending and in which embassies? We do not have a chart of which plaintiffs in which embassies. Do we, Lily? Can we run that chart with the data we have?
I think we could. I have not been working on the data for this case, and I can take a look at.
Maybe we can get James Hollis. Maybe we get James to run us a report on that. He seems to be the guru. That's a great question, Andre. We'll take the numbers and see what we can do with that. How do we proceed with closed posts? Well, first of all, as we said, you should be trying to get to do different posts. Second, and I know many of you hadn't filled, although, again, one of our plaintiffs was able to get to Managua, Nicaragua. Number two, there are now 5 consular officers in Moscow as of October 1, not just 1. So there is a chance that they get done. I don't have any suggestion on closed posts. The judge did not put that in his order, even though, again, we asked him to put that in his order. We asked for very specific relief, but basically he refused. He refused to get in any processing weeds. He just literally kind of stayed above the fray, which is kind of frustrating. Let's see. Ad finem is decided as a 1 in 5, 1 in 4 chance of getting a DV if you're not DQ'd. I don't think that's correct, actually. I think that's actually wrong.
Maybe higher than that.
Well, first of all, if you submitted documents, and the way they work is when did your documents get in, I think you're in a much, much, much higher chance of getting the numbers. From Iran, Mohammed Mohed Dafard, plan from Iran. Embassies tell us we don't have your case. Well, yeah, because that's what they're going to tell you now. They're closed for DV 2021 until they reopen again. That's probably not going to be at the earliest till November 1, is my guess. What can be done for employment-based visas that have been documented and qualified for its current via positive? Well, this is not that call. All right, I'd invite you to come back on Monday, but I will tell you this. I will tell you this. That's a 4th priority case. Don't hold your breath waiting for that interview. Okay. What about Afghanistan DV 2021 winners? We actually only had one plaintiff who did get an interview on the last day and was denied. because she didn't meet the education or job requirement because she's a woman from Afghanistan. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. But we don't have any other plaintiffs from Afghanistan. If you're not a plaintiff, you're out of luck. DV20. If you are not a plaintiff, DV 2020 is over. Either in our case or in any of the other cases. Jan, I've kind of answered your question. There's risks both sides on this. I've answered the Moscow question. And Elgar, we will have a number for you on probably by Monday. And again, if you're a plaintiff and haven't submitted your update, please do so. We've emailed you, we've begged, we've cajoled. We're not going to call 79 people in Kazakhstan. I mean, please, you hired us to do your case. The least you can do is cooperate with us on this. Tigrum, how can we check and make sure cases presented with you? They're not. You don't waste your time calling. They are not doing anything at the KCC. All right, they're not. All right. Let's see. A lot of appeals we've talked about. Please provide a list of plaintiffs. We will find information. Yeah, again, we'll do that by Monday. All right. Thank you very much. What should you do if you're not a plaintiff? Betty, I'm sorry to say the DV 2021 is over for you. I'm sorry.
Apply for 2023.
Yeah, apply October 1. It's probably Monday. Have you seen the new DV 2023 chart, Lily?
Haven't even looked for it. Couldn't tell you.
But normally they send it out. I mean, I'm on their listserv. I haven't get. Why don't you Google that? See if that's up yet.
Let's
Apply
see.
for DV
Instructions for the 2023.
Yeah,
program.
Usually it's first Monday in October for 4 weeks is what it usually is.
There it is.
So they're up for starting on Monday.
Let's see.
Okay, Frostman. When do you think they will start? Hopefully, I think it'll be November. Personally, if we can get a stay from being put into place. Fafama, this is not a Gomez call or Acker call. I'm still working with the judge on that. Non-go. AUS aimed to make AUS accountable. Individual plaintiff, they got away with it thanks to the judge. AUS was doing. I don't know exactly, Rohit, what you're talking about in that.
This is a Chakrabarti question.
Oh,
so
Chakrabarti,
watch our
go back.
video from this morning.
Go earlier. I already talked about that today. Go to our channel page. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, to our page. Yeah, Frostman, Russia to Nicaragua. Yeah, I know that was quite the thing. I don't know how they pulled it off. Element, thank you very much. What happens when your case is refused because of the 30th deadline? You should be some of the first to get the visa. That's what should happen. So we'll, again, update the database. If you got your visa, if you denied a visa, if you were not get the visa because the deadline ran out, you need to update the database. And Lily will send that out with the link again to you guys, along with the copy of the complaint for you to prove that you are a plaintiff. Let's see. I'm sorry, Ben Khalifa. If you're not a plaintiff, you're out of luck on DV 2021. When Schengen has reserved visas that will free some go visas, that would be great. Yeah, actually, it is true that there are 966 visas reserved for the Schengen area. I'm not completely familiar with the case, so that will be very good. And then we have several Schengen plaintiffs, and that would be great if they got one of those visas. Let's see.
I just put a link. If you're there on YouTube, I just put a link in the comments with a link to the update app. So if you haven't recently told us what's going on with your case, please do so.
Okay.
It helps us a lot.
All right. So government DQ, you should. I'm thinking November, unless they get a stay. We heard Simon that says possibly we can ask judge for more visas because ours. Yeah, Simon did not understand that ours is a final order. Ours is done. The other case is done. Keep in mind, the judge, he could actually change his mind in the good luck case. He could say, you know what? I was wrong before. I'm not going to. He could. It's possible. I don't think he's going to, but it's possible. That's why it's great to have the final order. Go Plaintiffs in Algeria wanted to email the consul.
You got muted again, Chuck.
I'm sorry. I got a phone call. Sorry, I got a phone call again.
I hear you now.
Yeah, they're good. So in the Goh Plaintiffs in Algeria, you're welcome to do that, but it's not going to make any difference until they are ordered to do something. Just hold off. Just hold off. We're going to give you a lot more information Monday night as well. All right. We talked about the appeal earlier on. Here's Tori Wong, DQ'd, qualified the N2L September 7th. This is this year. Medical September 22nd, 27th interview, 29 medical computed and issued. Thank you, Tori Wong. Congratulations. Hey, Mark, you guys did all this work. You guys, for those that got the visas, they worked. I mean, they're obviously in consulates that weren't terrible. I get that. Some consulates were awful. Algeria, Cairo. Get that. Iranians were screwed by Ankara and Yemen. We get, Yerevan. We know that. So let's see what else here. Nepal maximum plaintiff required. Does that they have a chance for second L? If you're documentarily qualified, you still, I think, have a really good chance. I think excellent chance. I think of getting these numbers. No chances for non-plaintiffs. The appeal we talked about earlier. Let's see. You have to make sure that being DQ'd will not lower their own chance. The judge doesn't order them to, they will use DQ. That is not math he has used. I honestly, Esther, I'm going to have to sit and think about your question because I don't understand that. Boy, a lot of questions. It just slid to the bottom on me by accident. I hate when this happens.
Maybe she's saying that you got to get your case documentarily qualified if you haven't already. I'm not sure.
I don't know. If you have a kid between now and the appeal's over, the child will be when you go to the interview, you bring the child and the birth certificate, and they'll fill out a DS-260, bring it with you, and that's not an unusual situation.
Congratulations if you've got a new child or a kid coming.
We can't ask any more numbers from Judge Maida. We have a final decision. We could appeal that. We could also lose the numbers. Again, we talked about go to the early part of the video. No need to rehash that. I will repeat again ad nauseum. I don't know what your number means in the context. If you're not DQ'd, that doesn't matter. It's only 112 plaintiffs DQ'd. There's another 370 visas. All right, but I think the key would be to get your documents in.
Please don't be emailing us or messaging us. Here's my situation. What are my chances? We can't. We really can't say.
And I know Aaron sent an email out last night, the Impact team, and said, look, we can't handle individual cases. What he meant by that was, don't call us tomorrow and say, I need you to call the consulate. That's not happening right now. Okay, we still have to work out with the government, and we're still representing you in the context of figuring out how they're going to do this. So there's nothing to do on your case right now. There's just not. Let's see. A lot of the same questions. We're telling you not to communicate with the KCC or the consulate. It's wasting your time and their time.
For now.
We'll tell you when to do that. Thanks a lot, team. Oh, Marky, congratulations.
Yay, congrats,
That's
Marky.
awesome news. That's awesome. Let's see. Yes.
I love seeing these last minute approvals.
Yeah,
it's great.
Don't Haley's going to chop the baby in the court. Yeah. And we know Iranians got screwed by this again. I get that.
Yeah.
And we will put an alert out about DV2022 shortly. We know at least one person had an interview today on DV2022 because they emailed me.
Oh.
But I don't know what it means in the scheme of things. So we're going to be figuring that out. Can you do an adjustment of status? No. We do not believe you can. I would not file one. Doesn't mean that some other lawyer wouldn't take that risk. You could try. All right. We're not going to do that because we don't think the order is for that.
You could argue that the State Department was ordered to reserve numbers and that USCIS, follows the State Department's allocation. I mean, you could try that, but.
Maged, I think you have an excellent chance at this, having been DQ'd. So I'm not going to give you a percentage. I don't live in Las Vegas. Esther keeps asking the same question over and over again. Remember, people, when you're in our lives, we look at all questions. If you submit a question more than once, I will likely just delete you. So please don't do that. Vincent, great question. The answer is no immediate action. Just hold on. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be doing that, Tori. We're going to find out who got their visas. Let's see. Why Good Luck got visa? I don't know. You'll have to ask Good Luck. I have nothing to do with the Good Luck case. Sorry. We will continue to give advice to our plaintiffs on what to do. So don't worry, we're not going anywhere. And I will generally tell you, and Lily, maybe you know this is true or not. Honestly, I don't think a lawyer makes any difference on DV cases at Collins.
That's why we generally don't. We get inquiries about them periodically, and usually we tell folks, don't waste your money. You know, if you qualify, you can handle it, and me calling the consulate is not going to.
It's not going to make them do it. I mean, they're going to ignore me like they ignore you. They simply don't care if you have a lawyer. Now, you sue them, you got to have a lawyer, right? And obviously, who else? You're going to call, right? All right. So, Ghostbusters. There we go. I'm going to change her name. Esther is about to get yanked here. Talib, thank you. Thank you, Talib. We appreciate very kind comments. By the way, if you are appreciative of our work, if you liked our work, we'd ask you to go to Siskin Susser, Joseph and Hall, Cook Baxter on Google, and give us a review. Or Impact Litigation. Impact Litigation webpage, impactlitigation.com. Go and give us a review there. We'd appreciate that because, you know, that helps people, let other people know that we really do fight all we can for our clients. Okay. We are not your individual legal representatives, and we made that clear from the beginning, which is why we don't send an individual email for 900 people.
That's also why we charged you a reasonable fee per
for
family,
what we did.
Because, right, because we don't have the capacity to represent each of you individually in each of your cases.
And it makes no difference. It does not. I do think, Eli, that the reasons they have to distribute them by region. They have to do that, as far as I understand. Again, we're going to ask these questions and see if we can't get some answers this time, unlike before. We will not be reporting this to the judge because they have 30 days to appeal. And he didn't tell them to issue them in October. He issued in this year. So the judge would just say, Mr. Cook, what about my order? Didn't you understand? I don't need that. Aragorn is here. Good to see you. I hope the sword is working out for you. How's the kingdom? Keep an answer from the KCC. I think we make you guard a case. Yeah, we go back to the beginning part of the video. We talked about that. Any KCC questions, go to the first part of the video. We've already answered those. Okay. Esther, I'm sorry. That's the last time. So, Esther, you are blocked. I'm so sorry. Kasim, Yemen case, can we be sued individually? No. In our opinion, no. You cannot sue on last year's lottery. Yana, thank you very much for your very kind comments. Imad, thank you very much. We are 6-4 interview issue, divided interview. Okay. If they were invited for the interview, it could go. I think an excellent chance of being one of the numbers that are reserved. Okay. Right. Set your documents in April 2021. What we don't have is the order about when our plaintiffs sent their documents. So the answer is I don't know. I think a lot of people did send them in April because that's when we told you to send them in when you became our plaintiffs. Let's see. Can the government appeal Go only and don't appeal Rye? Is Rye? I don't know the Rye case. Is that the Schengen case?
Is that another one of?
I thought that was
another one of Morrison's.
I thought that was one of Cronus's cases. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for a great job. How many plaintiffs remaining Go? We already answered that earlier in the video. Frostman says he cannot see the for updating status because I haven't gotten to it yet. It's scroll down. I mean, I know it's in there. Okay.
It's my name. If you.
Yeah, just look.
It also should be in your inbox various times, but okay. I'll see if we can send that in the next email.
Look at this. Gorky got the visa, and his country is no longer in the DV lottery. So even
For next
bigger
year?
congratulations. Yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations.
In
Congratulations.
under the wire.
Yeah, got it there. All right. All right. And we're down at the end. If the embassy is open and there are a few plaintiffs, can there ever be summoned for an interview? They could. I mean, I think this could also be unproportional, but within each region. There could be a consul that uses all of them within the region. So that's what we don't know at this point. But there is no need to renew and send your documents because they'll reject them. All right. What we're going to do, is it okay to travel to the U.S. on ESTA while this process is still going? I believe it is. Absolutely. I think it's absolutely. I wouldn't have any problem telling my client to do that. So we got that. All right.
I think you do have to be careful traveling on ESTA if you're asked, when you're coming in, that they say, hey, I mean, probably CBP isn't aware of this, but if you get asked, hey, are you intending to stay in the U.S. on this trip? You have to be clear. I do eventually want to come to the U.S. if my DV visa is approved, but I understand that this is a temporary admission. I'm just coming in for purposes consistent with the ESTA.
I'm going golfing. I'm going golfing.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disney World, whatever. Lily, thank you for joining me today. This has been a delight.
Thank you.
Again, everybody, first of all, congratulations. Second, I am sorry we didn't get the full number, but we will continue to fight to make sure every visa gets issued. And we will discuss among ourselves whether an appeal is possible, whether it's helpful or unhelpful. And if it's possible and helpful, we will, of course, do it. And we'll let you know what that would be and what that would mean for plaintiffs. But thank you, everybody. Have a great day. We will see you on Monday night at 6 o'clock Eastern. Take care. Thank you
all.